Good day, Rust Skin Enjoyers. Hope everybody's doing alright, gentlemen. It is the 10th of June, and it has been 2 days since the newest Rust store rotated in all of these skins. And basically in this video, the 48-hour analysis, we're going to try and figure out which of these skins are still looking to be a good investment, which of these skins could potentially give us some of those delicious looking profits. So sit back and relax, it's time for a good ramble. Guys, let's just start off and talk about how there's hardly any sales. That's a good thing for us. That's a good thing for us, the investors, because we can clearly see there's not a massive surge of excess purchases. Last week we saw that. Last week was ridiculous. And when you look at the total sales for these now, it still is ridiculous. So last week I get the feeling a lot of people spent a lot of money last week, and they're trying to cut back. They don't want to go too crazy this week. So keep that in mind. We're very likely not going to be seeing too many sales. So, honestly, if we're going to kind of keep with the trend, you would expect after the first 2 days, you've seen 50% of the sales for all the skins. Maybe the Redemption M249 is going to be the only skin that's going to go over 20,000, maybe. I think maybe the Hatchet from Hell could still reach 20,000 as well. Bit odd that this is selling more than this. I'm a bit surprised by that. I'm not sure what the reason is, but anyway, let's start talking about each of the skins individually. First off, let's start talking about the Redemption M249. So, I'm not too surprised it hasn't sold insanely, but I'm not also surprised that it's the best-selling skin of the week. A lot of people do like the Redemption set, and I wouldn't be surprised if we will be seeing some more. But if we were to... sorry about that. If we were to look at the highest total estimated supply for all of the... yeah, here we are. It's still fairly low. And yeah, I know, it's only been 2 days, understandable, but what I'm trying to point out here is it hasn't been bought out ridiculously. This is probably going to end up with around 20,000 sales. This means it's going to end up here, second place. Now, if it does reach that point, cool, fair enough, we did reach it, but maybe it won't. Maybe it will probably stop just before, but still it'll be about the second highest sale most likely. So this is a $3 skin. Will it hold its value? Will everything be all right? Again, this is the issue of how often are you using an M249? If you can kind of figure out that answer, you can probably figure out the gun demand for the actual weapon itself. And then you also have to consider, would people be wanting to use the Redemption skin, or would they rather want to use the likes of the Black Gold, or the Rainbow Pony, or the Tempered... Yeah, so this might actually be the, the unloved skin of the Redemption set. I wouldn't be surprised by it. But overall, even with the likes of the LR300 doing very nicely, maybe because it's the first one, but sticking with the point, it might probably suffer at some point in the future is something I wouldn't be surprised by. So, like what I said with my predictions video right here, I sat here in the first few minutes and I said, guys, this is looking to be a buy order week. I very likely won't be actually buying any skins. I'm probably just going to commit to the buy orders. And we do know that Redemption M249 is an abnormal skin. This is going to be appearing at a specific time, and we will be able to do our buy orders, and then we can look at the support, and then we can make a decision whether we want to buy it or not. Because I'm not sure if it's going to be an appetizing profit. Like, maybe this does stay above its Rust store price, but maybe just barely. So if you bought these at $3, which they are right now, of course, and it sells in a market at $3.30, you're not making a profit. But if you did like a $2.50 buy order, you will be making a profit, and that's very likely what I'll be doing, because I'm kind of keeping. I'm a fair bit concerned, but there is a positive. We do know there is another Redemption skin on the horizon. Mr. Slanosta did make the semi-automatic rifle. This is like the 10th time I've mentioned it over the past week. But yeah, very nice, stylish, cool, and I think a lot of people would be appreciating that, even though we've already just quite literally had a whole bunch of SARs accepted fairly recently. But anyway, I do expect to see some more Redemption skins being made in the future, of course, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see them being accepted as well. People do like it, people want more of it. Slanosta, where's the clothing and armor? So I'm still wanting to stick with doing a buy order in this. I don't really plan to do a purchase. And yeah, you could be fast enough to put down like a $2 buy order and everything will work out all right as well. So if you generally want it, you could just put down a $2.50 buy order, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if you managed to pick them up. So take that into consideration, but, you know, let's wait until the abnormal talk and when we do the buy orders, and then we'll start talking about what we're going to do from there on. So that'll be Wednesday night for me when I stream. And if you want to get a link to my Twitch, it's in the description for the YouTube video. So moving on to the hatchet and pickaxe from hell. I'll put them together because they're obviously meant to be in a pair. As I already said, a bit surprised to see the hatchet has over 1,000 more sales compared to the pickaxe. I'm not sure if there's a specific reason for it. Maybe because you like the star that you can see, or it glows a lot more, maybe. Also the transparency, pretty cool looking. But yeah, will this hold? Will this be all right? We do know the point that we've made already in regards to, this is glow in the dark. You do realise if you run around with this at night, you're going to make yourself a little bit more noticeable. But, you know, if you have, you know, a little bit of common sense and you don't use it during the night time, it's still a very cool looking skin. I can see why a lot of people do appreciate it. But just remember, if you get caught out at night time and you unsheath it and hold a weapon instead, that might be on your back and it's going to be glowing. So you might just have to throw it away. So, yeah. I think this will be doing quite alright in the future, but I don't think it's going to be doing alright instantly. And this happens with every From Hell skin. I mean, let's go take a look at the sleeping bag. It's down by 20%. Yeah, this normally happens. Do you remember when Jackhammer from Hell came out and initially for the first few months it was struggling? Well, look at it now. There you go, yeah. Locker from Hell didn't have a fun time because literally just after this came out, we had Twitch rivals and we had like 2 lockers being given away and yeah. Rock from Hell, hey, you were fairly expensive. You went down by 20%. By the end of this year, you're very likely going to be going above your Rustore price. So yeah, every single From Hell skin tends to struggle for a reasonable amount of time, especially during the year, and then at some point it just gets bought out and then suddenly it's in the positive. So these 2 skins right here, buy order. Now, what prices might we want to do? Honestly, it's looking to be like a $1.50 to $2 buy order situation. Because yes, both of these are also abnormal. These will be appearing at an earlier time as well. So yeah. So if you want to see how that whole process works out in regards to abnormal buy orders, why not consider watching my most recent weekly abnormal buy order video? You can just see how we sit here, figure out the prices that we're going to do, and then of course we have the actual buy orders. So if I just were to always don't forget, I always have, always have chapters. So if you're thinking, oh no, a 40-minute video, I always have chapters. So you can always skip ahead to the bits that mostly interest you. So here's what it looks like when an abnormal skin appears. At a set time, there you go, bam, 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 done. Easy. It's as simple as that. You've got to do the fastest buy order as you can. And that would improve your chances and potentially getting these skins at a cheaper price, which of course means you can, if you were to buy them, you'd sell them for a whole lot more profit. Understood? Cool. So yeah, I think the tools are going to probably be a fairly decent $1.50 to $2 buy order, and then we'll see what happens there, because 20% down would be, you'd be picking them up for, what, $2? Yeah, because 250, 10, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense, all good, cool. So, Arctic Skull MP5, I'm not surprised you haven't sold that much. The main point I wanted to get across to all of you is MP5 still are in a bit of a rut, the actual weapon itself, people not too keen to be using them compared to most of the other meta weapons. And the main point that I also got across was the comics MP5 isn't really that... It's $2.34. And the main, in a funny way, the main reason why we were considering investing into Arctic Skull was because comics weapons were fairly pricey. Not the MP5, that's $2.34. This skin right here, $1.99. So, unless you prefer, like, let's just quickly get the workshop here, and did I get that? Can you get that? Oh, I've got to click it. All right, that makes sense. So, the Arctic Skull is mostly white, but it has a nice tempered aim sight right here, which, you know, would be helpful in the snowy environments. Whereas the comics is all just pure white. Now, we also know that this is the comics is, you know, not that expensive. So the whole gimmick of, we could just buy it and then see people wanting to buy it instead of buying the comics because the comics are most expensive, isn't going to work out. It would have worked for the likes of the Arctic Skull SAR because the comics SAR is like $12 at the moment. The AK, the comics AK is like $7 at the moment, so that's still holding up its value reasonably. So, yeah, bit awkward. I don't think this is going to be doing very well, and that means I think this is probably going to end up maybe going down to like maybe $1.50 or something. So I think we could probably put down a decent buy order, but I don't imagine it's going to be retaining or staying above its Rustore price. We shall see. But then again, you've also got to consider how many of you are actually, making bases and playing in the snowy environments. I understand there's a reasonable portion, but is it enough of a amount of people to justify seeing a good profit with this? Yeah. All right, let's move on then. So, El Diablo Pump Shotgun. Now, this is a bit of an awkward position because, yes, we don't really see that many Pump Shotgun skins being accepted. It's been 6 months from here to here. So, from here to here. Yeah, okay, you get the idea. This has already surpassed this. But it's maybe because not everybody was super keen with this pump shotgun and its texture, its skin. So I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't imagine this being a stupendous profit maker. I do think it's probably at best going to retain its value. Like look at here, Recycler pump shotgun. It's retained its value. But if you bought these at $2, you're not going to be able to make a profit. Why? Because you had to sell them at $2.30 to get your money back. So I'm pretty sure you can probably take into consideration now that just because it's a weapon that rarely gets skins doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be an easy profit. But if you were to do a fairly decent price, maybe $1 to $1.50, you'd know that you'd be able to sell them for a fairly decent profit, I'm sure. So this, again, is just kind of summarizing that yes, this was a bit of a big fad last year in the summer of 2022 because of the slugs update, and everybody was using them. Well, most people, because it inserted itself into the meta because it was basically like a mini sniper. We saw all of the montages. It was fun, wasn't it? But that got tweaked, and we're not seeing that type of gunplay anymore. So, it's probably just going to retain its value. So we're probably better off just sticking with the buy order. Now, Sarnana, I am conflicted. So they got 9,000 sales after 2 days. That's okay. Not too many people buying these in excess. That's okay. It's bright, it's yellow, and it's, well, a bit goofy. But people do like goofy. And we have to now sit here and consider how well this is going to do. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think people kind of do like it. And we now have the banana collection fixed on their cmm.app. Remember Double Banana? Well, I was very conflicted with 22,000 sales. I was like, what am I going to do with this? Is it actually going to be in demand? Turns out it's retained its value. It's actually holding up quite nicely. So let's just quickly go over to here. Only 69 on the market. Anyway, yeah, it's retained that $2 value. Buy orders have slowly increased on it as well. It really does look like people do like banana-themed skins. Yeah, Bonana and Crossbow, not as good. I can see that myself, understood. But, that only has 46 on the market. Change it to dollars. Yeah. All right, if these two people didn't exist, then maybe things would be a whole lot better. And then you got the Crossbow, and that's probably just shy of about, it's a fair bit below, about $1.70. So, honestly, that could easily rebound. That could easily go back up. I think all of the banana collection actually will be doing quite all right in the future. This right here is probably going to be doing quite all right. Now, is this abnormal? Yes, it is. $2.49. Okay, so, with it not being bought out excessively, this could easily potentially rise in price because not too many people bought extras, it seems, and they're very likely not going to flood the market. Now, when we looked at all of those other banana skins, they are low quantity. And as I said, they all can easily rebound and go up in price. So I do think this is actually going to be doing quite all right now. I definitely thought about it. I looked at all of the other SAR skins that exist. This is the only fairly nicely looking yellow SAR that we have that exists. I know some of you are going to bring up yellow submarine, yellow submarine. That's a dull looking yellow. That's a dull looking yellow. We want nice and bright and happy looking yellow. Yeah. So, yes, one of the interesting things we could go from here is I've already asked them for a giant. I've asked them for a longsword. I want a big banana longsword. I want to whack people with a giant banana. Is it so hard to ask for? All right, please. So, the main thing I was trying to say is, I wonder if they'll consider doing clothing and armor. That would be pretty interesting. Bananas in pajamas. Right, nobody knows what I'm on about there. So, I think this is probably going to end up with maybe about maybe 15, 16,000 sales, and I do think it's going to be faring a lot better compared to the other SARs that have come out so far this year. When you look at all of the newest, you've only got one that's currently in the positive. All of the other ones are suffering a bit. But when you look at the different colour variety, it stands out quite nicely, doesn't it? Now, is that going to be good in the actual game? Like, are you going to want to run around with a big yellow thing? I guess a lot of people probably don't care. Maybe some do. It's up to you, really. If you think that's got a pretty decent future ahead of it, at the very least, let's wait and do our abnormal bar, doesn't it? And then we will approach it and figure out whether it's a good thing to jump in and buy. And at the moment, I'm curiously optimistic. And you know what? We're going to now move on to the JPEG Roadsign gloves. These have only sold 3,600. That is ridiculously low for 2 days. This is probably barely going to reach 10,000 sales. And what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Pretty much every single Roadsign glove skin goes up in price. Tempered has now jumped back up, and it's now in the positive. No Mercy Roadsign gloves is only down by 1%. Phantom Roadsign gloves are down 49%. I don't think that will ever recover. The main point I'm trying to get across to all of you is they're all in the positive. Now, let's also consider going by cheapest, lowest price. Let's see how they're doing. So, lowest price, oh, it's done it already. So, these are slightly above the Rust price, slightly above, comfortably, nicely, double. Like, instantly, we got ones that are double the price almost. And then, yeah, you got Dragon Rage here, only slightly down by 2%. So, yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be fairly okay. The only issue with this is the price it already is at. And I am going to be honest with you, that's probably half the reason why people didn't bother buying them. But you know for sure, none of these were bought on excess. Well, probably some person did, but this doesn't look, this has no signs of people buying in excess. It looks like it could easily climb up in price. Sorry, I'm losing my tongue now. Let's just take a real quick bit of water. It looks like it could easily, comfortably rise in price potentially, because I doubt we'll see many of these appearing on the Steam market and third-party sites. So, the other hopeful, optimistic thing that we can think of is, will we see another attempt at the Tier 3 workshop submission? Could we potentially see Tier 3 JPEG being accepted in the future? Do you know what? Let's just take a look at the workshop page, read the comments. Has anybody asked? Are you going to continue? No, yeah, they did, but we haven't seen a response. So I reckon GBG and Trigger probably will be making another attempt at some point, because, like, to see this randomly being accepted, surely that's motivated them to consider doing that. So, yeah, with this being abnormal, I'm curiously looking towards it, and I think it could just randomly go up in price in the future. Yes, it is default colours, but it's with the gimmick, and I think it's going to probably be working out all right. At the very least, retain value, because we saw that with all of the other gloves, didn't we? We'll see. It's good to keep track of it, and we'll see what happens in the future. Right, now let's move on to both the root bow and the chemical burn crossbow. When I looked at these, I just kind of instantly thought, yeah, these are probably going to end up being a 70 cent to 90 cent buy order situation. And lo and behold, with the demand that we see here, it definitely looks like that's going to end up being the case. However, there is something that we always bring up with the lowest selling skins of the week. They tend to be vulnerable to manipulation. Now, it's not something that's just going to instantly happen. It's something that just might fairly happen it might happen a week or two after, or about a month after. I'm not sitting here saying it's a definitive thing that's going to happen. It just kind of happens randomly. The manipulators don't want you to know they're going to be manipulating a skin, otherwise you might ruin it for them. So yeah, by default, with what I see here, with the progress, it's looking instantly to be a 70 cent to 90 cent buy order situation, because of course the main reason we say that is we expect them to end up selling at around $1, and then you might as well put down the 70 cent to 90 cent buy order, because then you'd be able to buy them and still be able to sell them for a profit, or at the very least turn them into metal and then sell the metal for profit. So yeah, now we're going to be talking more about these with the abnormal video or abnormal stream next week on the Wednesday. And I'll be going over how I'm probably going to approach them, because they've got very low sales so far. They're probably only going to end up with like 6,000 to 7,000 sales. So we'll see what happens there. All right. So, yeah, this was mainly buy order focused today, wasn't it? When we do the actual abnormal buy order stream, we probably will be changing up some prices and whatnot. Don't be surprised by that. It's always like this, because you never know, the sales might dramatically change or whatever. But I hope that was insightful and helpful, and I hope you probably feel a bit more motivated. But again, it's the abnormal skins it's the abnormal skins mainly that I'm curious about. These two very, very strangely have my curiosity, and we'll see what happens next. This, I think, will be fairly comfortable, just not go up in price insanely, unless, you know, people just buy it out simply because it's a redemption skin. The tools, I think, will struggle a fair bit, but that is to be expected. We've been over health skins throughout all this year. Now, guys, we should probably take a little bit of time to take a look at last week's skins, mainly the likes of the pirate face mask and chest plate. So these have been marketable now for 2 days. And don't forget, not everybody is able to sell these right now. Everyone who bought them last week, the only people who are able to sell these are the people who bought them within the first 2 days of the Rust store. But if you can remember, literally a week ago for the last 48-hour analysis, we had like 25,000 sales already. So at the moment, I see 155 quantity on the market. Let's just take a look at the buy orders. They're pushing comfortably above $1. It really does look like face mask. It has the it has the genuine demand to keep the price up, and it really does look like it's slowly going to progressively end up being a pretty decent profit in the future. Chest plate also has decent buy orders, not pushing it above $1, but still keeping that $1 barrier, I guess. It's not going to be going below $1, is what I'm trying to say. It's supporting it up. And both of these skins look very comfortable at the moment, but don't forget, we still have another 5 days worth of purchases that very likely will be appearing on the Steam market at some point. But listen, if you did buy some, we got to wait and see if we see pirate hoodie and pants being accepted, or if we also potentially see pirate tier 2 being submitted. There are a lot of skins, clothing and armor skins in contention for next week, and I could probably show you this. So if you have seen my Rust Workshop skin checks that I made just a few days ago, you'd be fully well aware that there is a lot of competition for clothing. So if we scroll down, why did you go back? Right, so for primitive, we have Blackout Burlap, and we have Forest Raiders Hide. So Blackout Burlap looking very nice. I think a lot of people would appreciate that potentially being accepted. Then you also have the likes of a full Forest Raiders primitive set. So that's Deer Skull Mask, a poncho, hide shirt and pants with burlap shoes. So that potentially will be rolling out over the course of the next few weeks. And then we have the likes of Flashbacks hoodie and pants, which is the exact same colour as Forest Raiders. Then, of course, we've got our pirate hoodie and pants. So, yeah, I've talked enough about that already, haven't I? Then we have the final core piece for Reptile Hunter. Someone brought up a very, very nice point. If Face Punch are a fair bit concerned about Forest Raiders' popularity and rise in price, we should have more green options, affordable options given to us. Give us tier 2 Face Punch. You know you want to give it to us. And yeah, that does look like fairly decent camouflage. So yeah, I think a lot of us would appreciate that, especially the ones that are already invested into it. And then we have the likes of Pixel Tier 3. Pixel Tier 3 I'm a bit doubtful on, and even the skin creator himself has straight up said, I plan to actually change this because he wants to make it look more like the hoodie and pants. He was actually asking Facepunch if he could change some of his skins to be voxel skin. Sorry, he wanted to see if he could get some of the names changed on his Pixel collection to be turned into Voxel collection skins. So this was more in the style of Pixel. He wanted to change this up and make it more like the Voxel style of the hoodie and pants. So I wouldn't be surprised if this potentially isn't accepted and we see the change maybe in a few weeks' time. Right, cool. So, yep. That's pretty much everything, guys. Don't forget to keep an eye on the workshop over the course of the weekend. We're going to be seeing some new submissions. And how's the Rust player count looking? It's doing all right. It's not too bad. Still fairly comfortable so far, so nice to see. So yeah, it's pretty goofy. Yep, that's already struggling. That's, yep, not surprised. Struggling. Only down by a bit. Yeah, well. Oh, yeah, this also had a lot of sales. How's this doing? Only got 114 on the market? Yep, that's cool. That is cool. All right, cool. And maybe just one extra thing to talk about. Let's just see that the front page looks like cool. Graffiti storages are being bought out. They're going through a nice bit of a push. They are they're all going above $5, it seems, at the bare minimum. And then next year, we're probably going to see a lot of them going above $10 and maybe beyond. A lot of people are now looking at the Graffiti collection because the Neon Storage collection has gotten quite expensive. In fact, let's go show you that. Neon Storage collection. Let's go take a look. Give it to me. Thank you. We'll go by price. And there you go. Boom Storage is now selling for $37 each. The cheapest Neon Storage is just under $5. But as you get through the first wave, they're all $10, and then all of these getting close to about $20 plus, and then $37. Neon storages are only getting more expensive, but graffiti storages are now probably being considered a nice alternative option, and of course they're now being bought out. So keep an eye on this. If you were looking for something random to buy, maybe invest yourself into these, because this time next year we'll probably see them potentially even higher in price, maybe even double for some of them. Wouldn't be surprised. But remember what I said when they first came out, guys? I would definitely consider buying into them, and I still have all of mine, so it's nice to see, isn't it? And go on then, let's just show it off. So Bombshell doors have had TikTok videos made of them. They've gone up in price, and finally it happened. Back, what was it, March 30th? I knew it'd happen. I knew someone would make a TikTok video talking about the double armored door. This went all the way up to $8 at one point. It's gone back down again because I guess some people thought, oh yeah, I'm going to sell my entire stock now that this has suddenly gone up in price a fair bit. But yeah, this pushed up to $8 literally just a day or so ago, and then it started to go down a fair bit. So my prediction of this reaching $10+ by the end of this year, I'm feeling pretty confident about. Told you guys, go buy as many as you could, I said back then, a good few months ago. I've got like 250 of them. And seeing the price that it is now, feels good. So, yeah, TikTok influence is rampant, and I'm not sure if it's going to turn into a problem. I'm going to have to keep an eye on all of it. But, yeah, that's the explanation for that. So with that then, people, I believe we're all done. I mean, we could probably take a look at May 25, how all the skins looking here. Reptile Hunter still looking pretty okay. Capybara Rock still holding up. And the garage door. And what about you, Pixel Boots? And go on then, complete the sets. Let's go take a look at you. Oh, yeah, that was expected. 313 on the market, 337 on the market. Who could have guessed? And then most wanted. Yeah. Oh, starting to go down. Oh, that's a shame. Looking very nice. Yep. Okay, so with that out of the way, thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed yourself. Best of luck to you over the weekend, and we'll see how all of these turn out, and then we'll be doing our buy orders. So catch you later. Bye.